Local productions seen on Delta College Public Media are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Junia Doan's The Spark. I'm Junia Doan, and thank you for joining us. My guest today is Matt Travis, Chief Operating Officer of the Midland Center for the Arts in Midland, Michigan. Welcome, Matt. So tell us about the Midland Center for the Arts. I know it well, but not everybody does.
Sure, Junia. Great to see you. So I work here at Midland Center for the Arts, located in Midland, Michigan, which is a couple hours north of Detroit. It is an incredibly expansive place. Has an art museum, a science museum, which we're currently renovating. It also has two large performance spaces, one 400 seat, one 1500 seat. It houses a professional symphony orchestra, a historical society, community theater, community choirs, and we have numerous professional touring acts ranging from Broadway tours to comedians to authors that come to us throughout the year. So it's really a wonderful resources to the people here in the Great Lakes Bay region of Michigan.
Now, the center was affected by the flood and took it as an opportunity to change physically in some way. Could you tell us about that, the repair and the concept?
Sure, yeah, we're amidst a truly transformative, roughly $48 million capital project where we will be essentially having a state-of-the-art hands-on science museum and also art museum. It will include an archival area for our historical collections, and will truly be, our intention is to be one of the leaders in the state in terms of this museum concept. So we're delighted to bring that to our community as well.
Does any of this upgrade allow you to do whatever presents itself in the future? I have no idea, but like with streaming this, receiving that, can you build in, or is that done later when you feel a need?
I think one thing we're great at doing at the center is being flexible and adjusting and rolling with the punches and moving with the times. You know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we didn't have performances in our hall for well over a year. And during that time, we were able to create and produce streaming events. We had a full season of 5 symphony orchestra concerts here where the symphony was on stage. They were fully masked, you know, with appropriate social distancing. We didn't have any patrons in the hall, but we streamed that to hundreds of audience members who watched in their homes. And it was great. I got a chance to live chat the performance. I was telling them about the music that they were hearing. And while it doesn't directly address your question, it speaks to our adaptability because that's something that we had never done before. And so while we will be seeking requests for proposals for exhibit design for our museum here at the end of the summer, inevitably that will absolutely be a part of it. We'll be working with professionals who design worldwide and who will make sure that we're designing something that will be relevant today, but will also be relevant tomorrow and in the future, and we can continue to adapt and be flexible during those times.
Not including the orchestra, how many people work at the center?
I think we have roughly 50 full-time employees and then another 50 part-time employees. We're kind of between 90 and 100 total. You know, those part-time employees range from, you know, right now we have, it's summer, it's June right now when we're recording, and we have dozens of summer camp staff that are working on that. We have numerous bartenders, F&B staff, servers. So there's lots of folks that work here in various capacities, ranging from president and CEO straight down through our great part-time staff that may only work here a few hours a month.
Now, this is a recent promotion for you. How does this compare to your prior job? What's the add-on, and what do you have to learn?
Hmm. That's quite a question, Junia. Um, so my background is primarily in classical music. I actually began performing here at the Center for the Arts when I was 7 or 8 years old. I did my first show at the center, very first experience on the stage, and it was truly transformative. I participated in numerous youth theater programs. So the importance and power of this building has helped shape my life and helped shape my career. The first portion of my career, Junia, as you alluded to earlier, I studied voice at the University of Michigan, and then kind of went down a path towards conducting. Choral music was always a deep passion of mine, so I pursued graduate degrees in choral conducting. And then after finishing my doctorate in conducting, I came back to the center to serve as the music director. I was conducting the community choirs, conducting the community theater musicals as well, which was a great joy. I love Brahms, but I love Sondheim, and I love Rodgers and Hammerstein, and I love Beethoven, and I love Mahler. So it was a great way to kind of dabble in all of those spheres. About 1 year into the position, as I kind of look ahead and think, my daughter was born, and that was a truly wonderful experience, as you can imagine. But in the previous position, I was at all of the community theater rehearsals, which take place in the evening. I was at all the choral rehearsals, which also take place in the evening. And I knew that it would take a significant amount of time away from my wife and my daughter, B, who's 5 now. So I saw a position of leadership at the Midland Symphony Orchestra administration open up, and I knew that that would cause a significant decrease in the number of rehearsal evenings. So I kind of strategically pursued that, and it worked out well for myself. It worked out well for the orchestra, I hope. Um, and then since then, just a myriad of kind of fortuitous opportunities have happened, expanding my role and giving me a chance to serve the community and the organization that I love most dearly. Specifically, what you're alluding to is in April of 2023, I was promoted and named the Chief Operating Officer of the center, which is something I'm just elated to take on. It's a vastly different opportunity, but one that I'm excited about. And in this capacity, I will oversee the marketing and programming departments, which have full-time vice presidents that oversee those areas. I'll also oversee facilities and tech, which have senior ranking directors in charge of those department areas. And we'll also oversee IT, which is a small but mighty department of one, but ever critical in this 21st century age that we're in. So it's a new opportunity. It gives me a wonderful chance to grow. As you alluded to, I have extensive background in programming, in music, in theater. My sister is a Broadway performer. We've done a ton of shows as kids and as young adults. And I'm also kind of a connoisseur, I guess I would say. Try to make it to New York to see several shows each season. Something that's very important to me. My daughter and I are subscribers to the Detroit Symphony, so we check those things out. It's important to remain active and experience those events. But yet, areas such as tech, and I collaborate with our tech services team quite regularly in the production of performances, which I'm a part of as a producer. But certainly facilities. I'm learning a ton in that area. I've had more conversations about HVAC systems and boilers and fire alarms in the last couple of months than I have at any point in my life. So, Junia, I think we're very similar in that doing hard things is fun, and learning about new areas is
Yeah.
fun. It's something that I know that you're passionate about, and I'm passionate about it too. And so I look at this as an opportunity to tackle both of those things at once.
Yes, what a good attitude, and we should all have it. It makes life more interesting, actually. The thing I was really concerned about, not concerned, is but you're also becoming a manager of not only different slices of the center, but way more people. And
Mhm.
how do you develop a philosophy or a way? Everybody's different, and everybody wants a little something different. How do you persuade them to your point of view?
If you're curious about others, and if you demonstrate empathy and kindness, I really think that anything is possible. I mean, yeah, there's more massaging and there's more intricacies in that, but I think at a fundamental level, those are kind of the two or three things that are at the heart of everything that I do. Um, I think ultimately, when you approach any conversation or any relationship, there's a positive compromise to be had with anyone involved. Whether someone's coming in and is absolutely furious about whatever, you name it. I do think that in the end, it may take a couple of sessions or a couple of conversations, but there's a win to be had for everyone involved. And it's making sure that you understand your staff, making sure that you understand your team, and knowing what strategies, what language, what type of emotion might help you reach that kind of mutual accord. Is kind of where my philosophy lies.
Very nuanced,
Thank you. Yeah.
because it's personalized to the person as well as the institution. So good for you. Um, did having your daughter change your perception of life professionally, besides night um, being no longer desirable, night work? I find
Yeah.
giving birth changes your connection with the world, but was it that way for you or not?
First of all, the responsibility for the care of another human being. Well, we certainly care for our friends and we care for our family members. It's obviously a very different relationship when you're literally responsible for another person's life. And that bond and that connection is something that, as you certainly know, um, I don't know that there's anything in life that kind of replicates that. But I think a lot about um, what women go through in this country, and I know that that's perplexed and perplexing and complicated. But I think about it a little bit differently now that I have a 5-year-old little girl. What does it mean for her to be in that room? What does it mean for her to be in that space? What do equitable opportunities look like for her in the future? And making sure that she sees um, successful, smart women, like you, Junia, and so many folks in our community and in our area. Just a reminder, what is possible being a woman in the young woman in 2023. And I guess for her, by the time she's 18, it'll be 2026 or 2036 or um, whatever that is. How that's constantly evolving, and how can I help her see what is possible and support her on that path towards independence.
She is so lucky to have you as a father, a concerned father.
She's
Um,
lucky. She's got a great mom too. She's got a great mom too. So no,
yes,
I
yes, but dads sometimes aren't that way or not encouraged, but concern always
yeah.
is a plus, always is a plus. So, what was the center? Do you know why the center was established or who it was established for?
Sure. I mean, I know it was deeply important to our community. I know it's 50 years old, and I know it was designed to be a space for our community to celebrate creation, to come, not creation in the Genesis sense, but creating art, creating, reliving history, celebrating um, all that is our community.
Well, yes, and more, because there was a very active series of groups who did
Sure.
symphony and performances and art showings and things like that. And Alden Dow, a member of the family, was an architect, and they went to him to design and help build what you have today. And it was difficult getting all the center. I wasn't here, I came later, just when they were opening
Sure.
the center, to participate, which takes me to the role of the volunteer now at the center, because it has changed since those early days. How do you
Mhm.
see the role of the volunteer? What kind of volunteers are you interested in?
Sure. I think ultimately the people in this community are in the fabric of everything that we do. At the center, without our volunteers, the organization would not function. We still have a great 5-season community theater, um, season that's really wonderful. Each show featuring kind of 20 to 50 community artists, and those opportunities ranging from being on the stage, designing lights, stage managing, working the crew. We really have a great group of passionate folks in that area specifically. As we speak right now, we've got a wonderful outdoor stage that will feature about 20 young people performing and working with a Broadway creative team. Folks from New York City with Broadway credits as director, choreographer, music director, stage manager. So it's a great opportunity for members of our community to integrate with professionals who will help elevate their skills, but also be important network opportunities. We've got great folks that work in our studio school, wonderful artists teaching and improving the quality of art for those interested in taking classes. Our historical society is very vibrant and very active in celebrating and preserving the tradition that is ever inherent in what we do here in Midland and beyond. So I really think there's an incredible breadth of opportunities and ways for our patrons to be involved as volunteers, and we remain truly reliant on that support and on that engagement.
Without committing, where would you like the center to be in 5 years?
I think so. Knowing where we are, we're expecting the renovation to the building, the capital project, to be complete in sometime in 2025. I think that is going to be what propels us into the future. It's going to help us serve our region differently. And it's going to help us reach folks beyond. How wonderful would it be if people were taking field trips here, if we were engaging students more regularly from this region and beyond, and then also using it as a tool for awareness of the other great opportunities that we have here at the center. If we anticipate 50 to 100,000 new people coming into the building as a result of this museum, how wonderful would it be if they attended a Matrix event or a Broadway show or a performance of the symphony orchestra, community theater, community choir, of course, which I mentioned earlier. How terrific would it be if, when people are driving from Detroit to Traverse City or Detroit to Mackinac or the Upper Peninsula, if they're saying, hey, we have to stop in Midland because we want to go to eat at Cafe Zinc, and we want to visit all the wonderful places downtown, and we want to go to the Center for the Arts because we're going to check out the museum in the afternoon, and then they've got a great concert that night, and then we're going to stay over at the H Hotel or stay at the Holiday Inn or wherever, and we're going to spend the night in Midland, and then we're going to go on the rest of our trip and head up north. So I think that's kind of the aspiration. And in working and making, it's called kind of placemaking, which quite literally is what it sounds like it is. Making Midland a place and engaging community business partners as well to be a part of that is certainly something that we hope to continue to do.
Just an idea. I view the center as a resource for people north who may live in small towns and not have many opportunities to gain experience or participation of some nature, because where else can they really go during the school year that has the resources and the excellence that the center has? And I know right now that's not on the schedule. You've got a whole other list of things, but a helping hand is always a good hand. So we'll see. Now, your sister is involved with New York Theater, right?
Yeah, and I appreciate that point, and certainly engaging. We have a wonderful couple that come in from Au Gres for the symphony orchestra concerts. We've had some schools come in from the Thumb, but yeah, thinking about our rural communities, we have a group. One of our most frequent attendees comes from West Branch. So thinking about the rural communities as well, and how do we serve and reach them is an important strategy. But yeah, thank you for asking about my sister. One of my best buds on the planet. I was recently I called myself the matron of honor, but the matron of honor in her wedding. She was just married, And yeah, she was, most significantly known as Christine on the national tour of Phantom of the Opera. So in the maybe I think 2014 to 2017 ish. My dates might be a little bit hazy, but she did 3 years on the tour. So if you saw Phantom during that window, it visited the Detroit Opera House and DeVos and Grand Rapids and Wharton Center, obviously among other venues across the country. But if you saw any of those Michigan sites, you would have seen her as Christine. And later, she was in the Broadway company of Phantom. Is a prolific teacher. She teaches voice now at several universities. She's taught at Montclair State, Penn State, and she just got a new appointment that I don't think I can talk about yet, but that will be really exciting for her this fall. So she's terrific, and she was just married to her husband David, who is also a member of the Broadway community. He's a director and has been a resident and associate director in numerous shows, including Beautiful and School of Rock, and most recently Moulin Rouge. Was also involved in networks. One of his jobs was to give Bryan Cranston notes after performances, which sounds quite daunting to me, but that's what he does. So he's a wonderful guy too.
Good to start there. So
Yeah.
are your parents very performance oriented or musically oriented?
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. My father loved to sing in church and has a very good voice, but wasn't really actively involved in choir or music formally in school. He went to a smaller Catholic school in Bay City. My mom was actively involved in band all throughout school, certainly avocationally, but she still loves to play. She participates in a myriad of kind of ukulele groups and sing along things, but it was fascinating. As a child, I was a boy soprano, and I was Oliver here at the center, and did some solo work with the regional symphonies. But the standard line is I would learn the music. If it was in Latin, my father, who was an altar boy, would teach me how to pronounce the text, and then my mom would play the notes on the flute, and that's how we would learn it. So it was kind of a tag team deal, and there's still my mom in particular is super active in the practicing portion. My sister, whenever she gets a new role or wherever she's going to audition for something, they send out what's called sides, which are the things that they'd like you to prepare in the audition for the audition. And oftentimes it's a scene with one or two people, and she will send my mom a text message with the scene, and they'll do lines together, because that's just a tradition that they've had ever since she was a little kid. So even now, my sister's in her mid-30s. She still runs lines with my mom all those years later.
What a family, huh?
Yeah,
What a mom.
it's
It
wonderful,
sets
and
a standard there.
no, I
Um,
appreciate it, and it's interesting, Junia, because in one of our coffees, you asked me. I credited my parents with being critical influences, and you had asked me what I learned from them, and it was interesting because I always say those words, but I hadn't really thought about it, and so I always appreciate you getting me to think a little bit differently, or to, I guess, support statements.
well, appreciate that, but it's my curious side, you know.
Sure.
I mean,
Uh,
life is so interesting and it's so complex and it's so joyful and it has so many challenges that um, I always like to see where the strands go or hear about the guess of where the strands go to create things because it's just the way it is. It's more nuanced than one sentence or two will kind of give. Just the running lines. I mean, what devotion, what joy, what common interest. Uh, Very impressive, very impressive. So now that your family is so in the world of performance and music, what is your approach for your daughter or teaching her? What age would you start and what would you do?
this is a great question, and I'm still kind of figuring that out. She's 5 right now. Right now, we do a lot of singing of Taylor Swift and whatever else she likes in the car. We have a lot of instruments in our house, and just kind of giving the opportunity to explore. But what's interesting is that my wife, I'm a sports fan, not particularly good at any sport. My wife, conversely, was a very good college soccer player. And so I actually see B kind of naturally, B is my daughter, naturally gravitating towards the more athletic side of things, which is great. I'm just, I think my hope is that she finds something that she's passionate about, and we can continue to give her opportunities to explore and figure out what that thing might be. But once she kind of finds it, we're gonna support her. We'll be all in to figure out whatever training or experiences she needs to feel fulfilled in that regard. So I'm still figuring out what that means musically. I mean, fortunately, in my work here at the center, it's remarkably easy to give her a artistically filled life. I'm constantly bringing her to events. I brought her to performances ranging from, I quite literally, if I'm going to a performance, I'll bring her. And it really doesn't matter. I don't think I brought her to some super adult oriented things, but I definitely push the envelope. If it's an issue, if it's highly inappropriate, I won't bring her. But if it's an issue of comprehension or something that I think she may not understand, I'll bring her, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. And that ranges from, straight plays, Little Women.
Good for you. I need to wrap this up, Matt.
Yep.
One of the reasons I like your being a father and an attentive one, it will give you ideas for programming at the center, because you'll have real exposure to that age group, so to speak, or that part of the population. Thank you for appearing. I love that you take on new things with joy, energy, and commitment. Be healthy, be wise, love people, great idea, and I'll see you next week, everybody else.
To contact Junia, send her an email at juniadonsthespark@gmail.com. For more information, program schedules, and news about future guests, go to www.juniadonsthespark.com. Thank you for joining us. See you next time on Junia Doan's The Spark.
Local productions seen on Delta College Public Media are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.